Hey guys, Snype here. I am on the trail again, about 5-6 miles out past Stevens Pass, and this looks like this segment of the trail is going to be a relatively short one. I'm actually probably going to end up making it ahead of time in somewhere between 2 to 3 days. Probably 2.5 to go this 71 mile stretch. Someone recently asked me about what life is like on the trail. Like, how do you make something like this happen? How do you survive in the wilderness and backpack from place to place along the PCT? And so the theme of this shorter stretch, I'm going to try to do some good video footage explaining my day, how I manage it, how I get through each section. But the first thing I want to mention is actually something I was talking with someone the other day about, where when you look at a big through hike like this that's 2,800 miles, that's a lot to comprehend for anybody. It's a huge undertaking, and it's so overwhelming to look at. So what we have to do is, first off, start breaking it into pieces. And in the next couple of videos I take, I'm going to show you how I manage the various pieces of my day. But right now we're going to talk on a little more macro level. So first of all, you don't think of the hike itself as 2,800 miles. All it is a series of 4 to 7 day backpacking trips planned in succession. So you have to figure out how to manage your schedule for those 4 to 7 days at a time, set up resupplies, or figure out, whether you can buy supplies in those towns up ahead. I've got some books that help me figure out what towns have good resupply spots versus what ones I need to have stuff shipped to me. And that's how I kind of manage that segment, is the first, just break it up and take it one piece at a time. I planned out my resupplies about 3 to 4 weeks in advance, built a Google spreadsheet of approximately when I would expect to be in those various cities, and then planned using that. Now, all the day-to-day details I'll get into later, but basically there's a couple of strategies here. So depending on you could either say, all right, well, I'm going to walk 15 or 20 miles today and then call it quits. Some people say, all right, well, I'm going to walk until it's 5 p.m. and then I'm going to call it quits and enjoy my evening. Or there is the route where you can use this app called Gut Hooks, which, is incredibly useful. I'd highly recommend it for anyone that attempts something like this. And it will show you where all of the nearby campsites are, where you can go, and so you can decide, all right, I'm going to go to this specific spot because it's at a lake, and I like sitting by the lakes at night. And that's basically how you kind of plot out your day. Now, what I found is I, at first, was pushing for big miles, and it became quite unenjoyable. So for me personally, what I ended up doing is figuring out how I enjoyed spending my days. So for me, at least in the last week, where it was a really tough week, that meant waking up around 6 o'clock in the morning, and then hanging out at camp, having a cup of tea, brushing my teeth, enjoying the morning, waking up, and then starting to walk between 8 and 8:30. Then I set myself a limit of, I need to go at least 15 miles a day, because that's where how much supplies I had on me for food. I needed to go 15 miles a day at least. Some days I went more when I felt like it, and the days were easier. Some days I went less. The final day I went 26 miles. And I mean, that's basically it from planning at the macro level each day, where you're gonna go, what you're gonna do. Then there's the matter of breaking up the individual days and the organization and stuff that's involved. And I'm gonna go into that in the next couple of videos. Tomorrow morning, I'll set myself up with a recording to show you guys how I manage the start of my days and get through the beginning phases of this stuff. Anyways, I'll check back in tomorrow with you all, and it's a beautiful evening here in the Cascades. It's starting to really cool off. It feels like it's going to be a nice evening to get a really good night's sleep. Good morning, everyone. So I just went through my morning routine, or at least the first part of it, which is go out and fill up my water bladder here with some stream water, and boiled some of this up in a pot and pan to make some hot tea. Some of you know I'm doing a ketogenic diet, so the idea is I want to have a lot of fats and a little bit of proteins, but little to no sugar. So what I use is I really like Irish breakfast tea. Some other people out here love chai tea. It's another favorite on the trail. I've got my pack here. My Z packs are called Zip, and this is going to make it easy for me to show you how to pack it. Now, most packs that you get, you're going to open from the top up here and stuff down in, but this one actually unzips on the outside like a suitcase, so not only can you stuff it from the top, is basically how I start up my day. Now, next I'll be breaking down my tent and then finalizing packing my pack. I'll make a quick little snippet of that. So here I am on day 15. I just climbed up to I think what will be the highest point of the day. It's at about 6,000 feet, a place called Trap Pass, and there are a billion mosquitoes everywhere, and I'm extremely thankful for this permethrin clothing I'm wearing right now. I've watched a few of them fall over dead or incapacitated, and they are extremely annoying. I've never seen this many mosquitoes in my life. Like, you know, like sometimes in the evenings you go outside and you turn on a light and then there's like a massive swarm of gnats. It's like that except mosquitoes. It's really crazy up here. Anyways, about to charge my phone, eat a little lunch. This is about 3.5 hours into my day, and just been walking all day, so getting a little bit hungry. Anyways, I'll check back in later. day 15. Been going most of the day. Took about a 30-minute lunch and massaged my feet, and sitting pretty close to about 20 miles right now. Looking forward to stopping really soon. I need to worry about stopping by 8 p.m. That gives me enough time to bear hang my bag and get my sleeping bed and stuff put together before dark. But I'm also on one of the last big climbs of this section, and I'd rather not start my day tomorrow with a big climb. It's much easier to do when I'm warmed up, but I'm just out of breath and tired. But I'll push through. That's what we do. So I just forded this river. Some people had told me before about this one and said it was a little rough and a lot deeper than it looks. Looks like there was a bridge here at one point in time that must have gotten smashed or something. But yeah, so fording a river this deep, I went to my camp sandals and just did it in my underwear, because I wanted to keep my feet and my pants and stuff dry, and that worked out pretty well. So there's no concerns for appropriate apparel in the wilderness. So underwear worked great for crossing this river.
So I've made it through Stevens Pass to Snoqualmie now, and tomorrow morning I'll make the last 7 miles into Snoqualmie, and I'm super excited to actually get to see everyone, and I hope some people show up to the 6 p.m. event I set up on Facebook. It'll be really nice to have some actual company tomorrow. After this last stretch, I've been, for the most part, alone on the trail. Haven't seen too many people. Well, I've seen plenty of people, but not really had any continuity of relationships, I guess. Have kind of lost touch with the group of people that I was kind of hiking around. I think a lot of them are further along than me. Because I took a few extra hours to get out of Stevens Pass area than they did. So, yeah, really excited to see folks tomorrow. Really excited to rest my feet for a few days. Today was kind of brutal. We had a lot of rock walking on these really, brittle rocks. So there are lots of fields of these rocks that you're walking over, and they'll beat your feet up really good. In fact, they sliced open my shoes, so my latest pair of shoes has only lasted 11 days, or about 180 miles. I'll have to get a new pair once I get close to Seattle. And then my feet just feel pretty busted right now. I'm ready for a couple of days off. I've got Leuco tape wrapped all around the midsoles, the heels, a couple of the toes. It's a mess. But I also feel like, I've done really good this week with cranking out 20 plus mile days, and doing it in really good time frames so that I can still have a decent chunk of the day to myself to enjoy. But I feel like I've just been pushing myself too hard. I feel like I I didn't slow down enough to really enjoy this section as much as I should have. And there were some really beautiful spots. I think this next section, as I get closer to Rainier, I'm going to slow down because I don't want to miss any of the beauty of the Goat Rocks wilderness. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say for this stretch. But it's been wonderful. I'm super excited to see people today. And my face is really, and my hands and everything are really dark now. I need to shave too.
I think today is day 17. I'm on my way into Snoqualmie. And I had a deep thought. Are mosquitoes drunk? Because they don't seem to fly straight. They're flying one direction and all of a sudden they just fall the other way and they fly like they're drunk. I think that's a real problem. Just made it back up to Snoqualmie Pass here. About to get started on the trail. Jim, my next door neighbor from this last year, just decided to help me out with bringing me back up here. It was a wonderful guy, great fella. Why don't you say hi, Jim?
Hi, Jim.
Thanks, man. Tonight's gourmet meal, Adam's 100% natural peanut butter. The beautiful thing about this stuff, you look at the ingredients list, peanuts, and that's it. None of the sugar or added crap, just liquefied peanuts. So, today I want to talk about a subject that's really tough and part of my reason for being here. And, I've talked about my health a few times in these videos and how I was to a point where my doctor had told me that, I looked like, from my blood work, someone who was going to die in their 40s. And part of the problems that I've had out here, or not out here, but that led to me coming out here, is I've also really struggled a lot with depression, not being happy anymore. And I've been doing really good about getting rid of it, but for some reason it just kind of came back in the last day or so with a vengeance. Depression's kind of like a hard thing to wrap your head around and understand, for someone just to say that they're depressed. I think the way that I would explain it, other than just generally feeling down, it's like a part of you's dead. If I was to list what are the things that make me happiest in life, I think the top two would be traveling and being in the mountains. And when depression hits, I don't want to do any of that. I can't think of anything that I want to do. I can't think of anything to get excited about. Nothing that I love interests me. And it's just like you're a dead man walking. Whereas when my head's clear, which it cleared up for the first time in a while, a little over a week ago, I could listen to my music out on the trail, and it made me want to dance again. Whereas most of the last year, I just, even listening to upbeat music like I've always liked, wasn't appealing to me. I didn't like it. And that's what depression is. You just stop enjoying anything in life. It doesn't matter. It could be the thing you like most in life, and it's like that piece of you dies, and you don't like it anymore. I'll get through this. I can't believe it came back. But at least I can identify that and know that the feelings I felt in the last day or so of anxiety and thoughts of giving up are not really me. It's just the depression. Well, I'm out here for the start of, I guess this is kind of like week 4. I'm probably 15 miles south of Snoqualmie Pass right now, and I'd only done a partial day yesterday, and then felt like just crap this morning and recorded the video where, you know, I was really just down this morning. I don't know what got into me, why I was feeling depressed and why those feelings came back. You know, it's still kind of there. I'm feeling a little bit better now that I'm moving again. You know, I feel like it maybe came on a little bit extreme because I was kind of almost out of the clouds with that sort of mindset. I would say in the tail end of the last section was the first point where I'd pull out my phone and listen to some upbeat music and just really enjoyed it. Like, I almost was dancing on the trail. I ran at a few points. I just had all this energy and just felt great to be alive. And it was like that depression had faded there. But a few days in the city, relaxing, and get back out here for a day, and my feet are still kind of sore, and those feelings came back. But I think I'll be knocking them away again. Got some really good audiobooks I'm going to listen to here on this section of the trail, a few podcasts, and this section is less up and down than my previous section, so it's going to give me a lot more freedom for self-reflection and time. And so I've already had one pretty solid thought from all of this, and I just finally got to where I understood something I've heard for a long time, and something that I knew was a lesson that I needed to learn, but I didn't get it, and now I do. And so, you know, some of you have heard me talk about this idea of loving yourself, and I feel like I've been confused by what that means. I felt like, you know, that meant respecting yourself and liking who you are and being happy, forgiving yourself, and those things all kind of play a part, you know, and just recognizing your own faults and all that. I thought it was more that side of things, but really what it is it's like, it's all about taking care of yourself. You know, like, if you love who you are as a person, and you love your body, you know, you don't necessarily do the things that feel good or the things that you enjoy the most. You do the things that are going to be healthy and help your body to function well and for a long period of time, so that you respect this beautiful moment in time you get here on the planet. And that's loving yourself. You know, waking up and getting out of bed and doing some push-ups and some sit-ups, or going to the gym, or me being out here in the wilderness because my body was really going downhill and in a bad way. This is all what loving yourself is all about. Brushing your teeth in the morning, just taking care of yourself because you love the person that you are, and you want your body and your minds to thrive. And that's what lesson I learned today. It's not about being comfortable. It's about helping your body to thrive, helping you to be the best person you can be, and just loving and respecting your body and your mind. That's my deep thought for the day. All right, so I've made it to basically day 2. Yesterday was kind of like the first full day of this week, and I was really not doing well. And today I'm feeling a little bit better again, feeling a little bit happier. I'm in this area, as you can see behind me, that's kind of like a lot of thinned out trees. There's all this like burned down area here, and I guess from some people I ran into that are up ahead, this next segment that I'm going into right now is going to have about 10 miles I walk through where the forest is just completely roasted. It's been burnt down from fires. So this might have been where they were thinning out the trees or something to prevent the fire from getting much further. Also, another big theme for the day today is water. Water is going to be scarce for a little bit here, which is something I haven't had to deal with yet. You know, pretty much I can go filter water every mile, sometimes a couple of times a mile I can find water, but I got a stretch right now. I'm going to be going about 7 miles with no water. So I had to stock up early today, and then after that I get a little bit of water, and then I got a 12-mile stretch without water, and then I think I have consistent water through the next like 50 miles after that, but then I reach another 26-mile stretch with no water, and that's going to be rough. So right now I'm getting used to it. I'm carrying 4 liters on me. Typically I only carry about 2. I carry 1 liter of water with added electrolytes and 1 liter of water with just plain water. So, but now I got my electrolytes and I got 3 liters of plain water. I feel really good today. I feel like kind of the depressed feelings I had from yesterday, they're mostly gone. I'm mostly happier now. But I got a lot to think about. It seems like finally starting to understand what it means to learn to love yourself. And I've really noticed some shifts in my mindset as I've tried to practically think that through, which I think is really good. Like, you know, loving yourself isn't necessarily doing what you want. It's not necessarily just being comfortable with yourself, although that is part of it. It's about taking care of yourself mentally and physically, and just like, you know, when your mind wanders down a path where it wants to do something that's not good for your life, you wrangle it back in and you know, say, no, I like myself too much to do that. I like myself too much to indulge in this thing that gives me temporary satisfaction and long-term pain. And you know, I think as I continue to work on that, I'm gonna see some big growth in my life. I'm pretty excited for that piece of revelation I had. So I'm on day 4, I think, in this region between Snoqualmie and White Pass, south of Rainier. And I haven't made a lot of videos in the last 2 days. I met a wonderful couple that had met each other on the trail and had been hiking with them. They were going at a really good pace, really close to mine, and I hadn't hiked with anyone in weeks. So I was welcoming the opportunity for that, and it was a good time. Had some fun, had a lot of good laughs. But this morning, they were, kind of doing their morning thing. They're a little slow in the morning and whatnot. And I decided to leave camp before them and go a couple miles down the road, mainly because we were camped at this lake that's like 2 miles from a trailhead, and there's a lot of weekenders that are out here that walk 2 miles or so from this trailhead to this lake, and so it was overpopulated. And as I understand it, most parking lots out here have toilets, and finding a toilet at a lake that's overpopulated is challenging. So anyways, this led to me getting up a little earlier, leaving a little earlier than the group that I've been with for the last couple of days. And as I've been walking along here, I started to realize, and I kind of like being by myself. I never really thought of myself that way. I like being around people a lot. But apparently I like being a little more independent. I didn't realize that. I never really thought of myself that way. But it's really satisfying having some alone time here now. Also, another profound thought here for day 4. My facial hair is really starting to get out of control. But I think I'm gonna let my beard keep growing out. I think I'm not gonna shave my beard this entire time that I'm out here. And I'm gonna eventually find somebody to braid it. I'm gonna have like fucking crazy beard braids. So, one additional thing I've noticed while being out here is my facial hair is getting out of control. I think I'm gonna have to get my mustache and probably my head trimmed, but I'm gonna grow my beard out. I'm gonna see how long and shaggy I can get this thing, and I'm gonna find someone to braid it so I can be one of those dudes with the crazy long braided beards out here. I feel like that would be a fun experience. When else am I gonna do that in life? Also, to give you guys maybe a heads up on what things have been like, since I haven't checked in as much the last couple of days as I've been with people. Whoops. So, yesterday was an interesting one. as was the day before. So let's start with the day before. We'll keep things in order. So, the night, 2 nights back, roughly, I met this group of people, and they informed me that there was a cabin with a wood-burning stove and stuff that was maintained by this snowmobile group called the Snowjammers. And it was, I guess the cabin is called Mike Ulrich's or Ulrich's cabin, something like that. And it sounded like a really cool place to stay. I've heard about like lots of these like little cabins and shelters along like the Appalachian Trail, but not along the PCT. So I wanted to make it there. But the problem was I had to make it 27 miles that day in order to stay there. Or add in an extra day and delay myself. So I decided to do a 27-mile day, which was painful. Very painful. But the cabin was really cool, and I met some really wonderful people there. I've got some footage of that cabin, and it was really beautiful. Now, the scenery on the way to the cabin was, it was okay. There were a couple of good shots of Rainier, where it peeked through, but otherwise, there's a bunch of logging roads that you hike around, a bunch of areas that have been deforested, or you could look off in the distance and see other patches on the mountains that have been deforested where they were logging. And that was it. So we stayed at the cabin, had a good time. I met this couple that had met up on the trail, and we hiked together all day, laughed, made nonsensical jokes about the wilderness, and the girl was from Germany, taught us a little bit of German, and had some fun with that. Then next day at the cabin, we kind of got off to a slow start after that really long day, and decided to go to 21-ish miles to this next lake, because looking at the maps and stuff, the end of this section where we resupply was about 50 miles away. So if we do 220s, then the last day that gives us a 10-mile day where we get into town and get in at a good hour, get some rest, wash up, maybe do clothes if there's a laundry place, and eat some real food, which is really awesome. So we did that 22 mile day, and it was really actually quite tough. I think a lot of it was, there was this 10-mile stretch that we had to walk through, and it was almost exactly 10 miles, where the whole forest had burned down just a couple of years ago. It was a really recent fire, out near Crystal Mountain Ski Resort. And man, that's brutal in this hot sun, the way it's been lately. But in the afternoon, as we get closer to Crystal Mountain, this thunderstorm rolls in, and there's thunder and lightning around us, and we still got a few more miles to go, and I think we were a little demoralized at that point in time and kind of wanted to stop. But thankfully, the group pulled through, and we encouraged each other to get onward to this lake. But when we got to the lake, it was like 9 o'clock at night because we'd started so late in the day, and it was way overcrowded. So that's what led to where I'm at this morning. And looks like it's gonna be another beautiful day out here. I'm really excited for today, and really happy. The depressed spell that I had a few days ago seems to have faded. I'm back to being happy and encouraged out here. The only worry on my mind now is getting to Forester Pass by October 1st. I haven't sat down to grind out the numbers yet. I'm going to try and look at it a little bit later. But someone was saying that we almost have to get 26 miles a day in order to hit Forester Pass by October 1st. That doesn't seem quite right in comparison to numbers I looked at before, but definitely going to have to look at that, because that's the next big scary point. So, I just had another revelation here. I'm about 7 miles or something into my day. I get a lot more excited to see dogs on the trail than people. I don't know why that is. I should have brought a dog with me. I should have listened to Jesse. Alright, so we'll talk a little bit about self-care here. I'm about 11 miles into my day. I just stopped off for lunch at this beautiful lake. It's a place called Twin Lakes. And it's like 11 miles into my day or so. And it's my first side adventure I've taken. I had to go about a half mile off trail in order to get here to this lake. But I wanted to get here because I heard it was beautiful. And it is. And being near a lake or a stream when you take an extended break like this, like I'll probably be off trail for 30 minutes at least, allows you to soak your feet in the water, and it really helps to refresh your feet, gets them clean, gets your muscles refreshed and ready for the second half of the day. And you can also see, just like based on this scenery here, I'm at just a really beautiful lake. So that's kind of one of the things I try to do with my day, is break it up and at least stop every 10 miles or so and care for my feet and try and make them feel good, and then that seems to lead to better days. Here I am walking up towards the road. Little guy here, he's afraid of me. Yeah, I'm almost up to White Pass. It's been a good week in the wilderness here, or I guess 4 or 5 days, whatever it was, maybe 6. Looking forward to a hot meal with vegetable omelet and bacon. Sounds so good right now. Oh, walking up into the Cracker Barrel where I get my pack or my resupply. Up in front of me is another PCT hiker doing the hitchhiking, trying to get to town for probably a rest day or something. This is what we have to go through on a regular basis